called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
Well, I guess. I think it should be Dr. Parker, but
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
So, what else you been up to, Mr. Author Joey Dursky, in your 7 books and your 8th, actually, because it's a
Oh,
7-book
you were-
exciting series, and
You
you
were
have
so-
an 8th book,
So
and
far
now
off
you're
with that
working on
stuff.
your new shit.
No, you were so far off with that stuff. Like, I wish you would have asked me first. So the Fallen series is 10 books, and it's
You're
done.
up to 10 now, not 7.
It is 10. Yeah, no. So, December 31st, I published the 3 endings. So I know you talked a little bit about it. It's an interactive fiction series. You get to make choices as you go in the form of an entire book. So you read book 1, you get 2 book 2s, and it kind of spirals from there. What I have back here is the entire saga, 10 books crammed into one. And I used one photo to go all the way across the cover. That's why you're seeing 3 books back there.
It looks like you got a cover, a spine, and then a cover.
That's exactly what it is. That's
There
how
you
you
go.
get that full wrap version. So 10 books crammed into one. What I learned while self-publishing is you can only publish a 550-page book on Amazon. That's 549 pages. And I had to make it like 10 size font to be able to fit in 549 pages to be able to fit it all in there. So
you're making real people struggle trying to read stuff.
Oh man, it wasn't on purpose. I promise. I wanted it to. Initially, when I uploaded everything, it was 1,200 pages. When I put all 10 books into one document, in a Word document, it's 1,200 pages. I had to trim it down to 549 to get Amazon to publish it. So, but that one's done. That's a completed series. Stricken from History is just a standalone, one and done. Unless it gains the popularity, I left it open enough just in case. People love it. I'll have them, or I'll write another book for it. I'll probably make it a trilogy. That's also the one that I pitched to, what's his name, the Brass Knuckles production studio that's wanting to make the books, so that we invested in. So I pitched that one, the Stricken from History. Now I'm working on a 5-book series that is technically a trilogy, if that makes sense. So you read book 1, and then it splits off into 3 books, and it goes first person after that. So you choose which character to follow, whoever resonates the most with you. Are you the big, bulky guy that runs head on into battle? Are you the smart dude that sits off into the background and analyzes stuff? Or are you the ultra athletic guy that speed kills kind of a thing?
I kind of felt attacked with that first one. I'm just saying. Felt a little personal shot right there.
Everybody knows you're the shield. You're going in first. We can make a plan behind you as long as you run head first into battle.
Yeah, like you have to ask twice.
Right.
Seriously.
So everybody goes through their trials and tribulations. You get to pick which one to follow, and then they all converge into a final 3rd book out of 5. If you followed any of my writing, you understand that I don't do this the traditional way. Like, I do this in a very abstract way, but I love to give readers choices. I don't want to just write a story and make you read it. I want to write a story in 3 different ways and let you choose the way that resonates the most with you.
So when I grew up, like back in the long ago when I actually knew what a book was and I read them quite a bit, they had those kind of book series where they gave you, like, you read to a certain point, then you have to make a choice, and then you have to go to the next set of pages, and then we're going to read that section, and then you make another choice. So you're doing roughly the same thing, but you're doing it book-wise. So that way people get more invested into it. Yeah.
It's a more adult version. I call it like an adult version because you're choosing an entire book. You're not flipping to page 68 to go left and page 94 to go right. You finish the book, you choose the next book, and then you move on from there.
Yeah, sounds like a great deal there, man, because you're getting a whole, if you buy the set, then you're getting, what, 6 different ways you can go? Did I count that right?
I've tried to do the math. It honestly starts to blow my mind once I get through it. I think, in all honesty, there's 18 different ways that you can read it, but you can also choose to skip books or backtrack later, which just completely changes that algorithm. Like, you can read if there's a book 2, A and B, but you read all the way through before you read B, like, that completely changes the entire dynamic. So there's literally probably thousands of ways to read through the series before it's all said and done.
So what you're basically saying is that you pay whatever it is for your books, because I don't know what your prices are. The reason I don't is because I just go pay money for things and I don't look at prices. But
I get that.
how many hours can you possibly get for your money? Like normally you read a book and it takes you A to B, right? And you're getting what, like 4 to 8 hours
4 to
usually on a
6,
book.
8 hours,
Yeah.
to read a book.
So
Yep.
on your book, when you have 18 different ways you can read it, if you go back through and read it a different way every time, you're multiplying that at least 10 times. So you're getting 60 to 80 hours worth of read time for a discount price. And it's still good reading material. It's still investable.
Absolutely.
And if you know the other stories that are going on, you can see how they relate and see where the possible crossover for each character was and what decisions they had to make.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah, and that was the whole plan behind it. So, and to be honest, I didn't want it to be that when I started writing. The whole thing came from a dream that I had, and I couldn't forget it. And a buddy of mine who was a published author at the time, he's like, dude, that's a cool story. Like, you need to write that down. Like, create a little bit of a backstory, develop some characters, and then tell that story about your dream. And I'm sitting here like, dude, I've never written anything in my life. Like, I don't even know the first thing to do. So we just kind of kicked ideas back and forth for about 6 months. He was a buddy of mine that I work with, so I saw him every day. Kicked a bunch of ideas back and forth. Eventually I got to the point where sat down with a laptop and it just started pouring out of me. I didn't know that I could write. I didn't know writing structure. Took creative writing classes in high school and stuff like that, but they don't teach you that stuff. They just teach you how to be creative. And so sat down, started writing it, and I got to the end of that first book and I was like, well, I could do this or I could do this. And then I was like, you know what might be interesting, like those books I read when I was a kid where you get a choice. What if I just stopped it there? That's the end of book one. And I give the reader the choice to decide what they would do. And then I wrote both books. And I expected that to be two different endings. But as I started to write and get through those, I'm like, this story ain't done yet. And it just snowballed from there. It became 10. And by the time I got to the 3 separate endings that you get to choose from, I'm like, this has to be the end. It has to stop here. Of course, with every story, there can always be more, but this series has to end at 10 books.
Yeah. No. 10 books is a pretty hefty number for your first shot, bud. I'm just saying.
It is.
And especially when you're giving it 18 different endings.
Right. I mean, I'm super proud of it. I love the way that it goes. I love the character development. I love the plot lines of everything that I've created. But I needed that creative freedom to be able to move on to something else. I had the wife nagging in one ear as I'm coming up with new ideas, sitting on the couch, and she's like, absolutely not. You have to finish this series and give it the endings that it deserves for the readers that really follow you and trust you to finish this thing. Then you can spiral off and do your own creative thing and start a new series if you want to. So she made me buckle down and do it. So I spent all of 2024 writing those 3 endings and released them on December 31st. I've been bringing them to Comic Cons. I got them on my TikTok shop. Like everything's been doing pretty well thus far. I'm just curious to hear more feedback. I do hear from the occasional husband and wife that they split, they each read one, and they talk about it without reading the other person's book. So it gives them some interaction to do. They treat it like date nights. But outside of the couple people that I've talked to, not getting a ton of reviews. Like I get reviews on individual books, but I want somebody to tell me, this is how I read the story. This is the way that I wanted to read it, but then this is the way that I read it afterwards, and compare and contrast. Is the way that you chose to go through it your favorite ending, or is the way that you reread it the second time the one that really gives you that satisfaction?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying on that. Hold on a second. I got to get Wes in here. How you feeling over there, Wes? Y'all caught up?
That sounds awesome. Out of curiosity, are we recording already, Kobe?
Yeah, we've been
got all that.
Yeah, no, I got all that. Dude,
that's amazing. And as you're talking about it, I was thinking about those choose your own adventure books that I remember reading as a kid.
Me too.
And I always loved those, and I've never been able to really remember what the hell they were called or find them again. Mm-hmm. So to. This is kind of interesting. I like it.
Yeah. That's kind of where it stemmed from. I was telling Kobe earlier, the entire idea came from, I wrote that first book and I didn't know how to end it. Like, I was like, well, I could do this or I could do this. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just write both and let the reader choose. And I expected it to end with 3 books. So like, I thought I'd get to an ending at the end of those. That's not how it went. It just, the more that I wrote, I'd get to a, and then, like from Dude, Where's My Car? And then just, I kept writing more. I had to stop it at 10. I eventually wrote the outline that would stop all of the books, and it ends with 3 separate endings. So you get to choose what to do 3 different ways at that very end to really make it your own.
That's awesome. I'm actually interested. I'm not much of a reader myself, but that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'd like to get to the point now that it's finally done. I've always waited to do audiobooks because I didn't want to lose the voice of whoever was narrating the first couple of books or however it went. Now I can pitch that as a full 10-book series to get somebody on board and have a consistent voice all the way through. So that next step in that series anyway is going to be audio.
From the sounds of thing, you should probably, record it yourself and then
I don't know. I hate my own voice. Like, I love my singing voice when I'm performing in the band. I don't like my talking voice.
See, and I think it's the other way around. I think your talking voice is way better than your singing voice.
Oh, ouch, bro. Dang. Oh.
So you do have a specific thing that can hurt this guy over there to your right there, Mr. Parker, something that he is definitely in on. Why don't you explain the bottles you got in the background and where they come from?
Oh, so we got the old...
admittedly, all I can see in the background right now is the Prairie Fire bottles.
So we got the Prairie Fire, we got the bourbon, we got the Country Gal Moonshine, and the Zone Vodka. So those are all from Iowa Distilling Company. I'm the production manager at Iowa Distilling Company. I make booze for a living, so my job is a lot better than anybody else's. We also taste test every 144 bottles. So every 12 cases, we do a taste test just to make sure nothing's going wrong. You got to get that quality out there. So only available in Iowa, all of these. So unfortunately, we would have to illegally ship you alcohol if you wanted a taste test, or Kobe could just fly down with some next time he goes to visit.
I do that quite
Iowa,
a bit. He's in Iowa. So.
Oh, you are in Iowa? I thought you were in Texas.
No, that's Scott that's in Texas. Wes is in western Iowa.
Fair enough.
I'm at exit 40 on the interstate, just a little bit south of that.
Stalkers, make sure you write that down, and we will get a full address later so we can play Access and Allies. I'm just saying.
I just drove by there not long ago. So yeah, we got Prairie Fire, we got bourbon, we got Country Gal Moonshine, which has that sweet tequila agave aftertaste. So a lot of people like making Cinco de Mayo style drinks with those, and then Zone Vodka would be a top shelf vodka if more people knew about it. It's the absolute best vodka that you could get because it has 0 flavor. It's like spicy water. If more people knew about it, it'd be $60 a bottle, but we can't afford to price it at that because it's selling well enough now that if we increase the price, nobody buy it anymore.
So what other bottles come with that spicy water?
Sorry, what's your question?
I said, what other bottles come in that spicy water? The vodka
so we have
bottles?
The Iowa State 1858 as well, which gives back to not only the university athletics, but the players themselves.
There you go, Wes. You want to weigh in on that one, buddy?
So I would say this, as someone who really likes vodka, it all depends on the vodka. Like I admit, I grew up on Absolute. I love the taste of Absolute.
Fair enough.
And it's funny how people say that vodka doesn't taste like anything. Vodka tastes like I like vodka better than Tito's, but at the same time, I am absolutely willing to try about any vodka because I love vodka.
Fair enough. Our idea behind it is, and the definition of vodka is it's invisible, flavorless, and odorless. Now, if you've tasted vodka, like I assume you have, certain vodkas have certain flavors. Like you can always
may have tried
taste
one here and there. Yeah.
Right. You can always taste it. That's our best version of just spicy water. There is no flavor to it. 100% disappears in the most minuscule mixer that you put it with. You can put it with absolutely anything. You can't taste it anymore. You just get the heat.
So, and I fully admit, my favorite thing to mix vodka with is Fresca.
Okay, perfect.
The grapefruit soda, for whatever reason, I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's refreshing and crispy, and I love it.
And that used to be our daily golf water whenever we went out.
Golf water. I love that phrase.
It kept us hydrated.
Or the opposite.
Oh, no, it did us well. I could always beat him on the golf course if he drank enough Fresca.
That's funny. I mean, the funny thing is, like, the Russians don't like Zone because to them, vodka's supposed to have some sort of a flavor or a
it's got to have that
taste
little
to
bitter
it.
bite right at the end with a little bit of after
Ours
flavor.
Ours doesn't. It's smooth, clean. It completely disappears. I mean, you could put a half ounce of apple juice in a glass of that, and you're not going to taste it.
I like spicy water.
Spicy water.
All right. So,
as I'm sitting here drinking a beer.
There you go, buddy.
Out of curiosity, where is the Iowa Brewery Company out of? I'm sorry, I missed it. Iowa Distillery Company.
There you go.
So it's the funniest named town in Iowa. It's Cumming.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Cumming.
Better than what's here.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Cumming, Iowa. Cumming.
Yep.
Cumming.
And I believe that's where you got married, wasn't it? In Cumming, Iowa.
I got married in Cumming.
There was a lot of coming and coming that night. I'm just saying.
So much coming in the area. Our CEO, he has an entire repertoire of Cumming jokes, but he was raised there. Like, he's originally from there. So no shortage of Cumming jokes.
Well, he's not going to tell us anything about Cumming, is what you're saying.
It must be a sister city to the city just to the south of me here, which is Hancock.
Cumming and Hancock. I feel like they need to combine on some sort of a beverage.
Oh, they do frequently at my house. I'm just saying.
It would be a long school bus drive, but if they could full grade
no, hold on. We can't talk about school buses and Cumming and Hancock. We are not talking about those three things together.
Short bus for sure.
I mean,
how about we go with private planes or chartered buses, something other than a school bus, sir?
For those keeping score at home, this is what we do with these here in Iowa. Let me show you. Teaching everybody online how to do this, Kobe.
Start from the beginning, sir.
We call this a fire bush.
Look at that. Delicious. We got facial recognition software working. I literally just drank a Prairie Fire bottle last week.
They're pretty tasty.
Well, I was at Fairway, and I'm like, oh, it's on sale.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times Fairway will buy it so much in bulk, they can sell it cheaper than we can.
I grabbed 2 bottles of tequila and some Prairie Fire.
Oh, no.
We had a weekend.
Yeah. And it might seem weird, but one of the best things you can mix it with is pineapple juice. Prairie Fire and pineapple juice.
Best for you drinking it or best for Cody later?
Correct.
So now she has been mentioned in a podcast. Not only seen, she has been mentioned.
First time ever.
It's like, I admit, one of my favorite type of pizzas is the Hawaiian, Canadian bacon pineapple, but I like to throw jalapenos on there.
Oh, you gotta have jalapenos.
Sweet and spicy.
The jalapeno really kind of, mellows out the pineapple, or vice versa. It's just a great combination. It really is good.
I'd give that a try.
I'm disappointed that you weren't actually on a treadmill. You can't sit down because we have perfect cameras until you stop moving. As soon as you stop moving, you go away and I get background.
I'm up to 92 now.
Just do hot laps 94. All day. We're gonna make you skinnier by the time that this is all fucking 25. Done.
95.
There you go. We got 95 upload, and you look all fancy like you're wearing a chain and a blacked up. Yeah, there we go.
I got you guys pinched on a microphone stand, sitting across the room.
You're pinching me on a microphone stand?
Crush's head. At Chris's head.
It'll take a lot of crushing. I'm on the other side, sir. You crushed his head.
No, that's where you're at on mine.
I
You're over
moved
here.
since I'm looking that direction over there. I'm looking that direction.
Nope,
I put
that's your
both
head.
of you over there,
Crushing your head right
That
now.
was good show. Good shit.
and I put Dirty Dursky right in the middle. The old
That's one
Dirty
of those
Dursky in the
outtakes
middle.
that goes on TikTok.
we got all of it. Yeah, well, as long as we don't talk about the buses and coming and shit, we're good.
Hancock coming and all this.
Is that a tanning bed that
Shenanigans.
you're sitting in now?
No, I am downstairs in the basement. And like most kids these days, everything's got to have the LED lights on. Hell, if I know how to even turn these things off. But
There's a remote somewhere.
yeah,
No, you need to leave them. It really heightens your mood over there.
We've lived here for 3 years now, which means they've been up for 3 years. I don't know if I've ever seen them off.
They don't go bad. They're LEDs.
So I'm sure there's some magical remote somewhere that could change them to pink, which Kobe would prefer. But
Pink would be great.
They're going to stay Delta Blue.
There is a lot of blue in this episode. I'm just saying. We got up in my corner, we got the Frosty Dinghy logo, and then I'm somehow wearing all blue. The Dirty Dursky's got his Five Below up there, and you got the blue mood lights.
Bingo.
Look at the man chest going.
The old band T-shirt, just in case. I figure
bet.
if I'm gonna rep, I'm gonna go all out.
Might as well
Between
go
the
out.
booze, the books, and the band.
You bet.
I got to do them all.
I am a little upset you didn't bring any of your medals. You don't have you aren't just sitting there with all your fucking Iowa.
Oh shit!
Iowa
I need
medals.
to grab the plaque, the Iowa Games Athlete of the Year plaque. Set it behind me and just throw the Michael Phelps medals around my neck.
Yeah. So Wes, just to keep you up to pace on this, that guy over there's got like 900 Iowa Games medals because he keeps beating the hell out of old people and stealing their gold.
Hey, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit. So I'm not beating old people. I'm beating people my age.
Yeah, old people.
I
get it.
I'm in the 40 to 44-year-old category, and I race against them at the Iowa Games. Like, if you can beat me in a foot race, then you deserve a good gold medal.
What about that 67-year-old guy that you went up against in high jump or whatever what it was?
No, we all high jump and long jump together. Like, they just pool us all together. But he's not competing against me. He also won his division, so I'm not competing against that guy. I'm competing against guys your age.
I am not that much older than you, sir.
I was going to say, I am not in the 40 to 44 age bracket, so...
Neither am I.
Are you younger?
No, we're both 46. Yeah,
46 yesterday.
Tried to sneak in a compliment.
You know what? 12-year-old, we don't want to hear it. We don't.
You say 36?
We don't listen to Gen Z. We don't listen to the Gen Z people in here. I'm just saying. We are Xers, and we are proud of it. All right, Wes, go ahead and start off our podcast the way that you always lovely do, sir.
So, as a normal conversation, what's up with Frosty Dinghy?
There you go. Since the Dursky don't know much about it, we're going to backtrack a little bit. We have a 24-foot pontoon boat that has been purchased that is currently getting seats upholstered. It's putting a second deck on. We're putting a slide on it. We got a new captain's chair coming in. Excuse me. We're getting the pontoons all shined up. We got a 150 horsepower motor on the back of it. And hopefully by June, we'll be able to take her out and see how she floats.
And just for my learning, what's the point of this pontoon?
So the pontoon is going to be able to be rented out with a captain, and you get to go out and party on it for anywhere from 2 to 6 hours.
Imagine is it just party bus on the boat on the river?
Yeah, that's basically.
So is it just
on
the
boat,
Galveston? Like BYOB, you get a captain to stay safe, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely BYOB. We don't take any liability for the alcohol consumption on there, and most places let you rent the boat and let you drive it, but we're going to go with the captain to make sure that you're safe and that all rules are be followed, and you can drink as much as you want. You don't have to worry about trying to drive a boat while you're intoxicated, which is illegal. So we're going to stick a captain on there. It is way more fun to go to jail, but but no, we want to be as safe as we possibly can, but we still want you to have a good time. Originally, it was going to be a different boat style, and that kind of fell through, so I immediately switched it over, and I went with the water slide type of thing, more party time, so you can go over to the party coves and hang out in there, and
Nice.
you know, not have to worry getting to and from where you're going. So you
How many
can
people can you take?
you can take up to 6 with a captain.
Up to 6. So the captain is 7.
Yes, the captain is part of the crew. The crew does not count in the thing. The captain can drive around 6 people.
That's awesome.
And that's
That should be
according to
fun.
the Coast Guard. So, and it will meet all Coast Guard standards and all the safety equipment. And it will come with a little bit of extra liability when it comes to anybody under 13. Because if it's going to be a family day, there are certain places that the boat can't go. Like you can't take a boat to Party Cove if you have somebody that's under 18. And you can't take it to places where the water's a certain depth if you have somebody that's under 13. And then life jackets have to be worn between certain ages and all that stuff. But predominantly, you grab whatever you want to drink. We provide ice and coolers. You throw it in there, and we drive you around to whatever you want to see. You want to watch dolphins? That's fine. You want to see a sunset? That's great. You want to go to Party Cove? Let's go. If you want a private sandbar, I know where one of those is. We'll get you there.
That's awesome. So when's the champagne breaking over the bow so I can sign up to go on this ride?
So that's what I'm saying. I want to have it in the water in June, as long as I still have to interview captains and get all that stuff, going. But
so you're going to hire out the captain. You're not going to be the captain.
No, I can't, because to be a captain, it has to be 365 days on the water that you're going to drive in, 8 hours a day. Plus, you have to pass the course and you have to take the test and get certified. So,
Is it like a motorcycle test when you have to do the?
No, it's a lot harder than
course.
that. You have to be able to charter the waters and all that stuff, and be able to, plan the entire trip, know all the safety regulations. It's probably about a month-long class if I looked at it correctly. So that's going to take me a couple years to get it. So
that's awesome.
I am going to recruit captains that are already there to basically run the business as I oversee it online and when I'm there. So
you're going to do a big first day, like bust that champagne bottle across the front and do all of that shindig and have an official opening weekend?
As soon as I have all the rest of the stuff in place, that is definitely going to happen, and it'll be all over social media on what day it is and who I'm bringing down for it. So
yeah, I'd like to be there personally. I think that'd be a shit ton of fun.
Well, you are on the short list already, sir.
I want to be the guy that drives up in the other boat that's way bigger and drops my anchor through it.
Yeah, you're not invited, sir. You're not. You are a podcast only guest. That's what you are.
Funny.
And you will always be a podcast only guest because you chose to go to South Padre. Just saying.
That's true. It was fantastic.
So there's the boat update for the day.
I like it.
So we have been tasked. Well, old Wes over there, his nephew? Is that who it is?
My nephew.
Your nephew tasked us. Yeah, I can't say it today.
He
told us we have to do this.
He's one of our 7 listeners, so we gotta
go.
No,
we are up to 24.
Holy shit!
Yeah, 24, sir.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, we're moving up the dynamics. That last episode was not what they're watching, but it was the one before it. The one before it seems to be getting us some traction. So I do appreciate everybody that follows it, and we will take suggestions on what you'd like to hear about. And this one is pyramids, aliens, and conspiracies, which is why we brought the Dirty Dursky into this one, because he is full of all the sci-fi knowledge that we need. So
I love that stuff.
We'll go ahead and start this off with the easiest question of the day. What are pyramids? What are they? What do they do? Who wants to go first?
The ones that we see in Egypt, specifically, because what are pyramids? Like, everybody can describe the shape, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about the pyramids. What are their uses?
Four-sided, like it's a box at the bottom and it all leans up. But,
excuse me, sir, they have 6 sides.
Well, the ones in Egypt have 8. If you've seen the shadows when they fly over the top, there's technically 8 sides to those ones. But in my opinion, like, I've never been there personally. Let me just preface that. Like, and I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not any sort of expert. But
we
I have
are definitely
opinions.
not an expert podcast here. We're all comedy and our own opinions and ideas here at the voodoo land of the Frosty Dinghy.
I have opinions like everybody else does. I lean towards the pyramids being a power plant. Like, I love the ancient aliens aspect of it. Like, these books have a lot to do with ancient alien themes. That's kind of what got me into writing initially. So when I see videos, you see the recent stuff that came out this year saying that there's stuff underneath them that can be up to like 1.5 kilometers deep, like that is a built structure that goes under the bedrock and under the water table. It just starts to blow your mind. Like, how can you even do any of that stuff?
A little information to add on to that. They actually found with the satellite imaging and stuff like that, that there is an Aramot branch of the Nile River that was deep enough to move some of the blocks into place and use as a waterway that ran right underneath the pyramids. It was 200 meters to 700 meters wide at one time before it got lowered below the sand. So it's still there. It's just not prominent on the surface.
But that's still wild to me, because if you're digging under that, you're clearly underwater. So if you're producing anything that has any sort of chamber that goes beyond that depth, either you have a way to pump it out and prevent more from coming in, or it's something that was placed there maybe before the Nile was even in the area.
They're at the same, the river and what they've found of the pyramid are at the same depths.
Yeah,
and the ancient riverbed and everything are at the same depths.
That's so weird. And when they scrape these little tiny chambers that don't fit a human through these shafts, they have to send robots into them. They're finding traces of mercury and some of these other elements that like aren't super abundant on the surface of Earth. It just tells me like that's so technologically advanced that we really don't have an idea. I'm sure our government does. Like they don't. There's no spoilers from them. They're not giving us the truth anytime soon. But from the people that have been there, from the people that have done some of the tests, like it's not a tomb, because a single tomb hasn't been found in any of those three. They've found them in smaller ones off to the side. Those were tombs, but these ones they've never been any sort of casket, any sort of tomb, any sort of burial found in any of these. But the way that the shafts are set, the way that there are marks against the ceiling like it was pounded by some sort of a liquid, tells me that was a power plant.
So they also tie back to what you're talking about is the king's chamber, right? The king and the queen's chamber are set up exactly like one of the electrical engineers said that they would build a power plant. And that the Ark of the Covenant is actually the size. And if they found some kind of text at one point that it explains how it was created, I mean, what the materials are and how it's put together, that it would be the perfect energizer for that power plant. And that's what they're chasing. I'm not saying that it's not something else, and I'm not trying to get into religion, but that's just what this engineer was stating, is that would be the perfect thing to fit into the chamber to actually power, once you ran the water and stuff through everything else, the power plant. And that the cap on top was the conductor that released the power that is now missing. The point cap, the white, whatever it was, is all missing on the top of it. And that's what sent out the Wi-Fi power, basically.
Well, we can make that an easy answer then. We just go up to Oak Island and actually pull the Ark of the Covenant out of the ground where it's at right now and put it in there, and the motherfucker powers up. We know the answer.
The Ark of the Covenant is not at Oak Island.
It's not. The remote viewers have seen it. It's in Ethiopia.
Yeah, and that's why it's guarded, and that's why every time that they put a new pope in, he only lasts about a year, and popes have ran away from that assignment to where they go in there and it's like they die of radiation poisoning.
Yep. Every time they bring new bodyguards
what theory
in,
you're talking about. Yeah, exactly.
They die 12, 15 years later from radiation poisoning.
And they lock them underneath so they can't get out once they shove them in there. And then
I don't know about all that.
No, they really do. They won't let them. Once they put them into that chamber, they do not let the Pope back out.
What's the point of having somebody down there if they're just going to lock them in from the outside? Why not just stand guard from the outside?
No, they still communicate it, and they still go through all the readings, and they still do all the stuff that they're supposed to be doing down there.
So there's more to it.
They're not allowed out of the facility once they become that job, and that's why everybody runs away from that position. Is basically it's a death sentence. Sometimes. Yeah. Well, yours isn't. You got different kinds of Holy Spirit, sir.
I make spirits. I don't deal with them.
Yes, and I am the one that partakes. I'm like a Ghostbuster because I handle all your spirits. I drink them. So that's what else do you think about the pyramids? What else could they possibly be? And why are they on every single continent?
In my opinion, like to alter your question a little bit, it's not necessarily the use for them, because the shafts and the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber hasn't been found on other continents the same way that they were found in Egypt. So it's more along the lines of replication. Like they're either trying to honor those original ones as some sort of a signal to get them to come visit again after everybody's spread out. It's like they're trying to butter them up. They're trying to stroke their ego a little bit. Like, okay, we helped you build this so that you could fuel your spaceships or whatever that looks like. But now we live over here. Like, can we get you to come back and share that knowledge again? Like, can we get you to expand? But when you look at how all of them are constructed, that's not methods that we had during those time frames. And some of those time frames people think are even older than what most people agree on. It's supposed to be 10, 12, maybe 14,000 years ago for some of this. A lot of people are saying 100,000 or even more than that, which is clearly before the Copper Age and some of these other things that were going on. So to have them in Mexico and in India and China and some of these other places that
Antarctica.
have nearly the exact same dimensions, the same height, the same everything, like just blows my mind when you think about it on a grand scale. Like, I think the ones in Egypt were the original. They were the power plants. And as we started to go and globally colonize the world, they took that knowledge with them and they started building these things again, because that was their religion then. It was the only religion, was trying to get them to come back and share more knowledge. Okay, we learned a little bit from you. Come back and share more. Like, we built these things in your honor. Like, come to, Middle America, when the Aztecs and everybody else was making these giant pyramids out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of forests where you don't even have some of these things, and you're trekking them hundreds or thousands of miles and lifting them with things that we couldn't lift them with today. Like, how do you explain some of this stuff? It just blows my mind. However it worked, whoever built them, whoever built additional ones on top of that, they have my utmost respect.
Well, and one thing I find it crazy is so when everybody thinks pyramids, they think of Egypt, but the Sphinx was actually believed to be before the pyramids even. So what the
I've heard that
is
too.
That thing?
So a lot of that theory comes from the water erosion that is around where they dug out the back end of the Sphinx, right? If you look at the rock on there, and a lot of scientists don't like talking about it because it throws off the whole time frame, but there's thousands of years of water erosion over the back edge of the Sphinx. And then somebody brought up the fact that it was possibly a moat, but the erosion doesn't equal something like that. And the last time that there was rainfall heavy enough to cause the erosion that's actually there and on the back end of the Sphinx was, I think, 10,000 to 6,000 years before what they're saying that it was actually built. So, because it's been a desert for a certain amount of years around it, right? But before it was a desert, it was a rainforest. And the earliest that it was a rainforest, it was 6,000 years before. So you got to figure in the time frame it'd take to make the water grooves and the last time it had heavy rain and all of that into effect, and when the river would have disappeared and all of that. So another one of the theories, and I'm sure we were about to get into this, is the Anunnaki, right? We've all heard about the Anunnaki. Well, looking at Wes, he might not have, but two of us have heard about the Anunnaki. and that they were actually the creators of most of the stuff that we do now and things like that.
Oh, I gotta grab a book. Keep going.
Oh, he's getting books. All right. So the Anunnaki, and the reason that it's a desert around all of that stuff is because that faction that created us and altered the genes, because all of the other primates on Earth have 28 genomes and we only have 26, and we were created to be workers and stuff like that. They had a somewhat like a nuclear war, and it wiped out the rainforest around there. So if you dig down a little bit into the desert sand, you start pulling up glass balls or pieces of glass, and that takes 3,000 degree temperature. And they fought amongst themselves after creating each individual sector. Like the Asians had a different leader, and that's why they altered the DNA to show that color pigment. We were the white people, and we had a different leader, and we had that pigment, and so on and so forth, right? And those factions decided they wanted to fight each other, and when they did, a few of them stayed, right? But after the big fight and the fallout, most of them took off land because they were aliens, supposedly, but they were founders, and they left. And the ones that stayed, there are drawings and pictures of them mating basically with humans, and there's a bloodline that it follows, and all kinds of stuff down that rabbit hole. So it depends on what theory of the Anunnaki that you have, on which way you lean on it.
Right. And do you guys know the nickname of the Anunnaki, other than calling them that formally, what they called them?
Thought?
Called them the Watcher, which is one of the factions you can choose to side with. That is one of the 3 separate endings of my book. So I told you Ancient Aliens inspired my book series. So that's one of the factions that you could choose to side with at the very end of the book.
So how were the pyramids built? How did the Anunnaki or the Egyptians or whoever built them, what tools were they using?
Not copper. I know that. Because they've done the tests, they've done the studies, they've done everything. They're talking about if these are the tools they had available, it would have taken them thousands of years just to cut these blocks that they used, not to mention transport them however many miles. I know some of them were fairly close. Some of them were a hell of a lot farther. But just to be able to cut it, there's no way. I mean, the pyramids themselves, they're not the most exact of all of the structures on Earth that have been made by primitive man, but there's still such a low tolerance to those gaps that may have been caused by erosion, things that weren't there initially that became there because they're older than we think they are. Like it might not have just been 10 or 12,000 years ago. It might have been 100,000, and that's why they don't line up now because of erosion rather than their intolerances, because there are gaps in the pyramid as compared to like Machu Picchu in South America. Like those ones, you can't get a razor blade in between. They look like they were melted and shoved together. The pyramids have a little bit more tolerance, but still, you're not lifting blocks that big, that heavy in that time frame.
The Egyptian pyramids are more exposed now. They get more of the weather and the movement, and that's why the tops of them are crumbling right now and all of that stuff. So you can't really measure the tolerances off of them now. I mean, you can if you get inside of the pyramids and you measure the tolerances, which are pretty much nano measurements. They're 100% exact on the inside. So one of the theories on how the blocks were cut were the Havmasuvs. Have you heard of the Havmasuvs? That they're part of the same Anunnaki culture, but they went underground. They built their cities underground due to light sensitivity or whatever. And they had tools that melted rock, like a super laser, and that would explain a lot of the precise cuts and no tool marks and stuff like that. And they also built most of their stuff at night, and they interacted with frequencies, and that's how they move things. So they could move those 120-ton blocks just by certain frequencies. And since there was no really light and stuff out there, we couldn't see exactly how they were doing everything. But they also had, if you went to try to confront them and stuff like that, they never used lethal force, but they had a tool like that looks, have you guys played Halo? They describe it as the Needler, right? Off of Halo, the one that had the crystals. Right. They said it was a silver tube that looked like it had cactus pricklies on it, and it fired them out and froze whoever it hit. Like you were just frozen. You could still hear and interact, but you couldn't move. You were paralyzed. And that's one of the things that they said when they came down that they did, that they went to land and the barbarians tried to attack them. So they went back up into the air, shot the Needler or whatever it was, froze everybody. And they came down and explained to them that, you know, we're not gods. We're just a version of you guys that are a little bit more advanced. And we have these tools, then we'll help you get your society going again. And they showed up after one of the great devastations of the earth that we had, like volcanoes or something like that, or an earthquake, to help us rebuild. So that's one of the theories on how the blocks got cut and moved and made, was on frequency and the, shit, I forgot their name already. Have-Masus? Yeah, the Have-Masus.
Well, and that makes sense. Like a lot of this stuff that I've read about and some of the videos that I've watched, everybody talks about sound frequencies. Like there are certain frequencies, and that could be a dimensional thing. It can be a lot of different things, but people don't think about sound as a weapon or a tool or being able to construct things, but they make it sound like some of this stuff is possible. Like you could even defy gravity with sound. We just don't know how to do it. It's a technology that we don't have at this point. And to me, that's something that's super believable.
So we do have some of the frequency technology because the military has implemented it in neutralizing effects to where they can shoot a beam in a crowd that you can't hear or see, but they can point this weapon at a crowd and it immediately makes them disoriented, nauseated, they throw up, and they're incapacitated. It's like, you know, the worst hangover you've ever had in your life.
I was hoping you're about to talk about the brown note, which I saw.
The brown note. I was hoping for that too.
What was that?
Note.
The brown note.
So this magical frequency that makes you shit yourself.
What?
Right. They call it the brown note.
I wasn't going to go that far, but please enlighten us on it.
Well, and that was a Mythbusters show, and they never proved it. But it's, you know, and it's like we talk about these sound frequencies. It's like X-Men First Class. There was that one mutant that was able to fly using the sound frequencies. He was able to bounce a frequency off the ground, which levitated him. There's so much that we don't understand about those sound waves that it's beyond us. I don't think we'll ever get to that point. You know, it's like defending your life. We on Earth use 6% of our brain, and there's 94% of it that we don't know how to use.
That has been disproven.
So we're up to 7 now?
No, we use 100% of our brain.
We use the whole thing, just not all at once.
Yeah, just like you and your camera there.
I just got down to 20% battery power.
No, it's all good.
Uh-oh.
No shit. So one of the other new technologies they've been talking about, and we'll go back to frequencies for just a second, is if you can break a glass with a frequency, there's a lot of other stuff you can do with frequencies.
I mean, you're clearly distorting the environment enough to crack and break a physical object. There's so much more that we can do with that.
Yeah. So that's something that I should probably read more up on before I dive into frequencies.
That'd be a later episode.
So one of the new things that has been going around again are the UFOs. Since we got to get into aliens, let's just go. So you got, I think there's 8 different classes, if I remember right, of types of aliens. But the one that bothers people the most is the Tic Tac, and the one that's underwater, right? The big one that shows up on radar and moves at like thousands of miles an hour. And they don't think that with the 90-degree turns and stuff like that it's actual propulsion that's moving it, that it's displacing gravity. So it's not moving. Technically, it's going into a different, universe, or not really a universe, but a different gravital spectrum. So it compresses it on the expands it on the front and compresses it on the back to accelerate it directions. Therefore, there's no forces inside that actually put pressure on whatever's in it. And it's basically a type of propulsion we haven't figured out yet.
Well, and the fact that you don't see anything on the surface. So some of these reports are boats on the surface. See it, it comes up, it goes down, and then it takes off. They can see the light go away. Like they can see it leave, and that's kind of how they calculate some of these things. But it doesn't even create a ripple on the surface. That to me tells me that it's something similar as just traveling through space. Like if they could travel through the void or the absence of everything in outer space, well, they could do that on Earth as well without making any sort of ripple, without causing anything physical to trail behind it. There's no exhaust, there's no heat, there's no bubbles, there's no gases, anything coming out from it. It just moves. So why wouldn't you be worried about something like that? Either our government's not telling us really how far advanced we are, or it's something that they have no idea about either.
Wes, you got any theories on this one, buddy?
All I know is the government doesn't tell us a lot, and that's a scary thing. Our government, unfortunately, knows more than the rest of us would like to even believe. You know, not to sound like the guy from that '70s show, but there was a car that ran on water, man. You know, and the guy who did that died. He refused to sell the. He refused to sell the patent on it, and magically he died. And you know, this shit is real.
And we're magically back to cars running on water as well.
Yep.
They have hydrogen cars
Japan
now.
or China just did one.
Yep. There's video of the new car out right now. So it took, another 50 years after that guy disappeared?
More like 100. I think that was in the 1920s that they started doing it. But the guy that you're talking about was late 50s, early 60s, I think.
Yeah, I think
and then
so.
you had that guy in Iowa that created a carburetor that you could get 100 miles a gallon, and he magically didn't make it too far. And I don't agree with the fact that government had anything to do with it, and please leave me alone, government. All right.
Oh, we can be conspiracy theorists all we want.
Okay.
Well,
we're small fish.
It's like that. It's like that Simpsons episode where he starts Mr. X and he starts putting out all these random rumors, and then he gets put under the government control. Well, what one was true? Oh, we're controlling you with vaccines. Oh,
you can't.
I've been waiting on
about
one of my
vaccines.
books to get banned because it's a little too close to the truth.
Oh, well, that means you're on the right direction. Write another one.
I hope so.
Jeez.
That'd be cool.
So what do you think of the drone sightings and stuff like that? How many of them were actual UFOs and how many were ours? And I honestly don't think that any of them were any other countries, because we would have shot them. Not the countries, the drones.
My whole thing when it comes to this, I've had a weird take on all of this stuff. So every UFO sighting that's ever been seen, if it was real, I think it's some kid that stole their parents' car. But the alien version of it, dude, you forgot to do the invisibility cloak, like that scene from Harry Potter when they steal the car and it flies, but the invisibility button doesn't work anymore. To me, it's one of those things. It's somebody that shouldn't be operating it that is doing it either out of spite, or they don't know how to operate it, or they're drunk trying to get home. One of those things, because the scientists, the leaders, if these are actually aliens, they have a hierarchy too. And there's no way in hell that the good ones ever get caught. The ones that crash are the ones that are drunk, or they're kids. They don't know how to operate it. And that's why they're going down. That's why they're crashing. That's why they're getting seen.
So there's another theory out there, and that I actually have to cover two of them on this one. The first one will go with you saying that it's the kids crashing them and stuff like that. One of the theories is, since they're almost evenly distributed throughout the major powers on Earth, that they are purposely crashing that to help our technology. And they're doing it in the higher powered places so that the right people are the ones getting the technology, because they're trying to get us back to where we used to be. but they can't come right out and give it to us because it would cause all chaos and hell across the planet if we knew about it. So they're strategically crashing crafts for technological advancement to get us back to where we were before the major incident. That's one of the theories.
One of the people that really believed was Tesla. Tesla was a believer in all this shit, and that guy he was one of the generational geniuses. And like, had he been more selfish, more people would know who the hell he is. But he wasn't a selfish person. He wanted to further mankind, and he gave away power. Like, that's who he was. So I could see that.
He figured out how to stick a light bulb into the ground and power it.
Right. From a mile away.
Using frequencies. So he was on the right track, and that's what ultimately was his demise, is because he let too many people in.
Yeah, my conspiracy behind that one is it was JP Morgan that had him taken care of, because he originally had an investment of $120,000 from JP Morgan, but he didn't realize that it was to provide free electricity. And once JP realized what he was doing, that instantly went away.
See, now was it JP Morgan or was it Benjamin Franklin that has taken all of his technology and marketed it as his own?
It was Thomas Edison, not Benjamin Franklin.
Thomas Edison.
You're only off by about 150.
I was gonna say
those
years are off a little bit.
Unless he's a fucking alien.
He's a fucking alien. That bifocal thing in the wall. Just saying.
But yeah,
national treasure, bitch. National treasure.
That was Thomas Edison who stole all of Tesla's stuff.
There you go. So it was Thomas Edison. Where are you going with this? You gonna keep elaborating?
You were the one that brought it up. You said
I know
Franklin stole his shit.
Well, then you explain to me what Thomas Edison did it with it. What'd he do?
Yeah, don't put wrong shit on a podcast.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
why not?
Shit. Look at our last episode, Kobe. Everything we said was 100% right.
Would you like to go back to the one where we followed my aunt's idea and got so drunk that you were passed out in the chair by the end of it?
That was a great episode.
Yeah, for you. 5 hours of talking, an hour, a 51-minute edit.
Yeah.
We're down to 50.
No, so Thomas Edison, he absolutely stole those ideas. And it's like, so Thomas Edison, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Edison came up with DC power. It was Tesla that came up with the AC, which made it so that one power plant could power hundreds of thousands of houses. Wow.
I don't know what that was.
That was
somebody slammed a door. It shook my bookshelf.
That was an Edison fan trying to take you out.
Yeah,
it was.
The ghost is with Dursky
right now.
Yeah,
we're getting a little too close. We're being remote viewed.
Oh my God! Hopefully, it's that one cool chick off TikTok, not the military guys that stopped her from Antarctica.
Right.
So Edison also stole the works of two other people on the light bulb and claimed it as his own as well.
Well, it's like everybody nowadays thinks that it was Elon Musk that came up with the idea behind Tesla. He bought the shit. He didn't come up with it. He bought the shit.
It already had a name. Yeah, it already had a name.
So it's the people with money that get to look like geniuses. It's like, we're talking about Harry Potter again. That one professor who took everybody's memories and wrote his own books using everybody else's memories. Mm-hmm. I can't think of the guy's name, but that's how it works. So it's the people with money that own the ideas because they own the people.
So hold on, I don't know shit about Harry Potter and I've never seen it. But
you gotta watch it. It's pretty entertaining.
I will never watch it because I think it's horrific. But some comedian brought up the fact that there was a pair of twins that could see everybody's movements on a map. Okay.
Well, that was a map. Yeah, that was a map.
Yeah, they could see everybody.
By the Marauders, yeah.
Okay. So they couldn't see that one kid kept getting into the instructor's bed every night? They couldn't see that?
You got that a little twisted.
Well, that's what the joke was. So,
well, it's the opposite. It's a grown man being in a child's bed because he's a rat and he's his pet. But but
they couldn't see that on the map?
Right. Because there are certain things that can only be accessed by the original people that created the map. And that rat was one of the 4 original people that created the map.
That works out great. That works out wonderfully.
We could do a whole episode on this, Cobb.
I could talk Harry Potter all day.
Oh my God, are we about to have a Harry Potter episode where I just sit here and stare at you guys like this?
Might have to.
Well, maybe
no,
not
we're
this
gonna
one,
sit
but maybe
with
another
you.
one.
We're gonna sit with you and make you watch it, and we'll record the whole time.
Whoa, there we go.
I am not.
So a Frosty Dinghy movie review.
So
there we go.
No, we have that coming already. But
all 8
does
of
that
them.
mean I will have to make a Kick channel where we can, send this out to?
I don't know.
You just do like a time. You just do a x5 speed, so everybody can get through it.
I don't think that we can have one of us on a live stream. It's that guy over there.
Whoa!
Not the guy in the middle. The guy on the right. That flounder guy is not allowed on live TV.
We don't see the same directions that you see, so I don't know how we.
I'm not the one that throws out
the.
Yeah, of course I'm on top. I'm a giver.
Dursky on bottom, and I'm kind of in a little window over your shoulder.
That's a great place for you, in the little window behind bars where you belong. So, I don't know how much you guys have researched the 9 billion things that I've sent to you on. The 9 billion things that I've sent to you on the Talk of Ticks and in your messenger and your text messaging and emails and smoke signals and everything else that I send you all day long because I have no life and I do that stuff. But have you guys actually looked into the new thing that Google has done with the dolphin wildlife conservation? Have you looked into that at all?
Not in depth, but I've heard what they think they've figured out.
So they think that the eeks and the oxen, since I'm the dolphin, it's just fitting that I'm talking about it, that they can understand generalities that the dolphins are talking about. And the ultimate goal is to create a two-way communication between the dolphins and humans, and they would like to put the packs on individual humans and send them out into dolphins to communicate with them. Now, I see 2 things that are going to happen from this. Number 1, and the most plausible, is as soon as the capabilities are there, the technology is going to disappear and we're never going to hear about it again because it's going to be taken away from us.
Valid.
The other thing I can see is, holy shit, we just learned where aliens are from and where they're at, where their base is, and why they're underwater.
I can see that too. But on top of that, we could also figure out we're the second smartest animal on this planet. We just have thumbs.
And we might be the third, depending on how much the dolphins talk to the orcas.
Right. Or the octopi.
Octopus are aliens. They don't count.
Aren't we all aliens in some respect?
No. The octopi
I think we are
aliens.
The aliens that have invaded this planet. That's why we have back pain and can't be out in the sun for more than an hour.
Is that why they wrote a whole song about my neck, my back? Never mind. Wrong song.
I saw that on a commercial earlier, but they changed the words.
And it's an insurance. It's a family commercial now. Ain't that some? So let's dive into that little tidbit for a second, Dursky. We'll go with the third smartest on the planet, and that we're the aliens. So how are we the aliens? Did we just show up and take over, or did somebody else show up and they made us out of the primates that were on here, and that's why we have 2 less genomes than any other primate on the planet?
Yeah, if we're going that route, we're talking conspiracy. It's we are a creation of the Anunnaki, the Watchers. They saw the resources from everything that I've read, seen, enjoy watching on TV. They needed gold dust in their atmosphere, but they realized that harvesting gold from our planet was significantly more difficult than they were ready to put in the effort for. So rather than digging themselves or calling in more of their own kind to try to pull these minerals out of the ground, they, with their technology, just decided to upgrade the life forms that already existed here. And those life forms were obviously relatives to apes, chimpanzees, give or take, whatever species they decided to pick specifically of them, and just made us a little bit smarter. But because they made us a little bit smarter, it made us start to question things and question why we were the ones doing all of the work. So now to answer your question, we didn't just arrive here as is. We were cultivated.
So what is one of the creations, and I really don't want to go down this road, but we're about to. We're going to go down it. Hell, why not? What is one of the things that they created to control that curious ability that you just described, the curiosity side, to where they made it to where we think a little bit too much outside the box?
Well, I think the control aspect comes from our emotions. I think they gave the emotions that most animals don't have. Like, we feel love. We know the difference between happiness, sadness, anger, like, and we can articulate that. So by giving the additional emotions, it's easy to manipulate a population like that. If you know that certain things make them angry or make them happy, you can give them the tools to get them to push forward on whatever it is that you need them to do. If they respond better to receiving something and gaining pleasure from it, you get them to work hard. If it's the opposite and you piss them off and it's to where you drive them so hard that they'll work twice as fast so that they could stop doing it, that works just as well as the leisure time does. So I think it's the adoption of providing emotions.
That's definitely close to the take that I was going for. Wes, you got anything on that one?
I don't know what I truly believe. I'm not a
It's
Christian. I don't believe in all of that. I think we go back too far for that. I think Christianity gives people something to believe in that need it. Whereas the person who just believes, try to do the best of myself every day, I don't need to believe someone else is going to reward me for being that person. That's my feeling on it. So we came from somewhere, somebody, but I'm not sure who.
I agree with the religion aspect. I love what religion does. I love the purpose behind religion. Like, it gives a lot of people something to fall back on. It gives them that comfort. It gives them a sense of morality. For some people, it specifically defines good and bad. It's not necessarily my thing. I think that I can figure out good and bad without it, but I love the purpose that it serves, even though I'm not a religious person.
So I fall on the fact that I'm glad there is religion. I mean, honestly, because without the structure-based religious and having something to believe in and something to follow and something that, drives your life, you're going to get lost, right? And along the way, we have lost the ability to create that any other way. So I appreciate the people that follow the religions and all of that stuff and everything they believe in. And I've read through a lot of them. I've gone to school for 4 of them. I've read about every book there is about it. I understand why they follow it. And I'm glad they do, because without it, there'd be a lot of lost souls. I mean,
mayhem.
people trying to figure out what truth is and what direction to go with their life. So they have found something that they enjoy, that they believe in, and by all means do it. I mean, it makes you a better person. I would rather have somebody that follows religion next to me than somebody who questions every single thing that goes down. I mean, you got to be able to question some things, but if you're going to choose a direction, definitely choose something that there's something that's higher than you out there, is my opinion. I mean,
But
because
you also don't want people acting on impulses
no,
either.
hell no.
Like, I mean, there's a lot. Not everybody's the same. Like, there are people that actually have mental disabilities and things like that. That this will help guide them. It'll help keep them in check. Because otherwise, without that fear of some sort of damnation or some sort of afterlife, might be raping and killing and doing all sorts of shit that nobody wants. So it does serve a purpose, in my opinion.
But you can't let it serve the purpose to where that also drives you to exactly what you said. Because we have fought how many wars?
All of them.
Over bullshit that we don't fucking know what really is going on.
Well, and like, if we want to get into it, Christianity was, I believe, part of the reason we had the Black Plague. They believed that cleanliness was bad. They didn't want people showering. They didn't want people being clean. That brought in disease and killed how many people? There was a lot of things that happened because other people said this is what to do. And this doesn't necessarily
And what religion did not get attacked by the Black Plague? There's one religion, because their whole thing was washing their hands.
Yep.
Muslims. The Muslims washed their hands religiously and showered.
Don't get me into the Black Plague,
by the
because
Black Plague.
I wrote an entire book about it. So
I know, that's the only reason
don't get
I'm
me
letting
started
this,
on that one.
It's the only reason I let this little fucking religious thing pop off a bit that we're going to get in trouble for, but whatever.
We'll go another hour and a half. You start getting into the Black Plague.
We normally go 3 hours of useless crap that we talk about.
You didn't tell me that.
That's why we got to drink throughout it.
Yeah, that's why we're drinking, and we take a break.
Dude, my bedtime's 9.
We'll make sure you're in bed by 8:34. But no, so what happens, I mean, this is your first time on and you haven't seen the entire thing, is up until a certain point, we stay on task. And then, like we just did, we start going down fucking side trails.
It goes to shit.
Yep.
And then about the last half an hour is we're both too drunk to be talking, but we're still having a good time. That's usually how it goes.
Good news for you. I've been drinking for approximately 6 hours.
That a pepper. And at some point we'll just have you put another chair in there and we'll bring Cody in and let her weigh in and shit as well. Since she is the cover of one of those books up there.
Yeah. But she is religious, so sometimes it's good to get that opposite side.
Throw her in here. Go get her.
Nah.
No, not this round.
She's out there with the dogs. Yeah, we'll bring her in on a future episode. If she likes this one and the fans want to ask, we'll bring her in.
Cool. So let's what was the other thing I want to talk about? There was something else. Hold on, I gotta look real quick.
Pyramids, aliens. I remember you sending me the list.
We covered a lot of it, but I had a secret one.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, you might want to tell Wes that you made me a character in your book because he'll get jealous.
Oh, well, no, I didn't make you a character. I made the
caged dolphin. Yeah.
The caged dolphin. A little nod to your TikTok channel.
No, I appreciate that. Apparently, I'm not going to be able to find what the fuck I saved because I'm stupid. Oh, there it is.
We forgive you for
while
being
you're
stupid.
looking for this, you were talking about the dolphins that are getting trained or whatever.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to learn dolphin speak.
Yes.
Wasn't that like part of like the movie The Abyss, where they were like trying or something like they were trying to use like whales or something for like finding like nuclear missiles that had like sunk in the sea or some shit like that, which is, if you go back and watch The Abyss, a very weird fucking movie.
I love
The Abyss didn't have dolphins in it.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. Wait. I remember the gist. I remember the end for sure.
I know what you're talking about.
With you. The Abyss is such a good movie.
Yeah.
So it was the kid off of what the fuck was he on? Road Trip. The little skinny nerdy guy off Road Trip yes, he is. Oh no, it wasn't The Abyss. It was the core.
He was like a year old when
it was the core. It was the core that used the whales. The core used the whales. Sorry, wrong movie, but same principle. The core. Remember the core, Wes?
No.
To where they made the machine to go restart the core of the Earth, and they had to set off the nuclear blast to get the magma flowing again and create.
That plot line sounds familiar, but I don't remember the movie.
So when they came back out, the way that they found them was the whales were picking up the sensors on the ship, and that little skinny guy ran back down the carrier and told them, "It's the whales! It's the whales! Follow the whales!" So that's where I went. My bad. Now The Abyss, on the other hand, I don't remember any whales or dolphins in.
When we're talking about whales, I just think of down Periscope with sonar trying to talk to the whales. There's a real nice couple off starboard earlier today.
That's like the best movie ever. Come on, Dursky.
That's what Kobe sounds like in the bedroom.
I am the dolphin.
Fortunately,
Excuse me, Mr. Dursky, you are almost out of uniform.
Unfortunately, I had a shared bedroom wall with Kobe for several years, and I can confirm that is exactly how Kobe sounds.
You may be entitled to compensation.
For all 30 seconds of it.
Oh, you're giving yourself twice as much credit as you deserve.
I had to take my pants off, and I fell into the wall quite a bit. Just saying. So, just to throw you back in, since we brought it up, and, it's one of the best stories I got about the apartment. Walked into Mr. Parker's room over there, and he had an inch of snow on him. He had opened the window next to him.
I don't think it was an inch, but
he had he had a frosting of snow down whatever part of his body that the window could get to, and he was snoring his ass off like nothing was wrong. And the thermometer in his room read 35.
Would you say he had a Frosty Dinghy?
His dinghy was not part of it that was frosty. It was about shoulders up. Shoulders up was what we were getting there.
So I had to.
We were in the upstairs of a 2-level apartment, and it was all radiant wall heat, like electric wallboard heat. And we had about a 92-year-old lady that lived below us, and I think I was above her bedroom, and I think she must have had that fucker set at like 89 most of the time.
That's where I kept mine at. So
there was a lot of nights that it would be December, and I'm like, fuck, I'm opening the windows, I'm not using a blanket. It's like, goddamn, just cooking. So I will confirm I did wake up with snow on me once or twice.
That's fine.
So I want to get this in here because I think, honestly, Wes, how far are you from Eldora?
Fuck, I don't know. Eldora, you're talking in between like Ames and Des Moines, right?
It's between Ames and Marshalltown.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I'm like a little over an hour 15 to Des Moines. So
what I want to get out there, and I don't know if you're interested in this at all, but I'm going, and I try to go every fucking year because it's a great time. Is rock and roll, right? And Mr. Five Below's t-shirt over there happens to be a lead singer in a band, and how it works is you go down there for the weekend, right? You get a campsite, and then you get thrown in a bus, you get taken up the river, dropped in inner tubes, you ride the tube down, and then that night a band plays, so you make like a big drunken fest of it, right? So now
sounds like most of our podcasts.
Yeah, pretty much. It sounds like we're gonna have to figure out how to record an episode on a Sunday out there, because I'm going this year when he plays. And when is that?
Oh, I was wondering if you'd call me out on it.
What? July 19th or something like that?
20th, 19th, 20th, whatever that weekend is. It's that Saturday.
I got it in the calendar.
What's funny is I have the Iowa games the same weekend. So I have track and field on Saturday and disc golf on Sunday. So the whole plan is to go disc golfing or to go do track and field while you guys are floating down the river. The band performs that night, get up first thing in the morning on Sunday, go disc golfing, and then go home. So I float on Fridays. So they don't let the band float the day that they perform. They've been kicked in the ass by that before. They've had band members not be able to come off the river, either from drunkenness or sunburns, whatever that looks like. So I float on Fridays. Saturday, I'm going to go do my own thing. Everybody else can still go float. Again, like, you don't pay per float. You pay per campsite. Like, you pay to camp, and then the floating's included. Like, so yes, you could pay for an entire week if you wanted to.
You get the band chaperone on Saturdays.
That's true.
You get the main voice of the band. So
it's a pretty good time.
Cody leads us down the river. I'm just saying.
She does. Yeah, she'll navigate for you.
You bet. So keep going on the.
So that's the whole weekend. The band can't float on Friday, and my guys don't ever come down to do it. Like, so it's just me. So if anybody wants to get there early, hang out a day before, I go set up camp on Thursday afternoon. Like, I take a half a day off of work. I take all day off on Friday. I go Thursday afternoon, set up camp, get everything situated, go floating midday Friday. That's my day. That's my party day. and there's nobody on the river. So if you're the type of person that wants to float without being disturbed and floating through everybody else's piss and shit that's floating down the river, Friday's the day to do it. Saturday is Apple River. Like it's every fucking party that you want to go to. So if you're the party crowd, you want to do it, you want to set up parties on sandbars, stop every 20 minutes and kind of reload sort of thing, then make your way down the river. Saturday's the way to do it. I love performing at this gig because everybody is shit-faced coming off the river. We play 7 to 11 on a Saturday, and there's not a sober person that we perform for. Normally, you got to get the crowd into it a little bit. You got to say, hey, who wants to take a shot with me? Who wants to drink a beer with me? You're trying to cheers people, getting them a little loosened up. On a normal Friday, Saturday in a bar around here, you don't have to worry about that there. Everybody's been drinking since noon. They are ready to party coming off the river, and it is so much fun.
Shit, last time I about didn't make it out of the river.
I know. I was there.
Yeah, it was a bad time. But a great time at the same fucking time. You didn't have to carry me. I could still walk.
I said almost.
No, the people that were helping me out looked at me and like, well, fuck, I don't know if we can do this. I'm like, I got it. I got four-wheel drive.
Got the lasso.
Yeah. They went and got my Jeep and hooked up a tow strap and pulled my ass out of the river. But that was probably the lowest that I've seen it last time.
Oh yeah, we had to get up and walk a couple of times. That's not any fun. So
and what's this wee shit? I had to walk a lot because I'm fat. Just saying.
I mean,
you skinny fuckers need to shut up.
It's always the risk that you take. You never know what the river height's going to be. You just have to plan your weekend and go.
What river is this now?
It's the Iowa River.
All right. Yeah, I know a lot of people here like to float the Nishnabotna River, and there's times you got to like get out and pull your float to get across spots. And lately the water level hasn't been good, so like half the people don't do it anymore anyways. But yeah, that's one of the big things around here is going and floating in the Nishnabotna River and floating it down, and usually not making it to where you're getting out of sober.
Just takes 1 or 2 good storms, and sometimes a good storm in Minnesota that hits, 2 or 3 days later.
So I think they're Whistle. You need to talk to the most perfect wife ever in the existence of wives, and tell her it's a company outing.
Well, so we'll see what is going on with the new employment at that point. Means will not have much PTO for a while, I'm guessing.
Well, you don't need PTO for weekends, do you?
Well, probably not, but...
That's what I'm saying. Come down. We'll call it a company outing for Saturday, and you guys just drive over and stay a night, and we'll try to figure out how to record Sunday mornings.
Can you cut the P off of it and just do TO?
The hell's TO?
Time off.
Time off. It's just not paid time off.
I don't know. I have a lot
Sometimes that works.
I got a lot of FO, but
is that fuck off?
Yeah, I'm fuck off. I'm not coming. I'm just saying. I suffer from anal glaucoma a lot. I don't see my ass coming to work. Yeah,
unfortunate.
Yeah, or they have what's this thing called sick leave that works out great during the summer when you want to go fishing. That's yeah. I got the croup. I mean the crappie, something like that. I don't know. What it is over there. So, does that sound like a good company outing there, Whistle?
Yeah, just send me a calendar invite. Dude, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not going. Let's just be honest about that.
Have your people get in touch with
Hold on.
Yes.
You just told me to do something technological towards you, and you've been struggling with your camera and walking around and talking and backfeed and shit all day. And you want me to do something electronic towards you.
The one thing I figured out is iOS calendar. It's pretty fucking easy.
In Search of Sanity calendar. Got it.
It's my kids
you all right
know,
over there, Dursky?
Yeah. I mean, if you know what you know.
Yeah, my kids know. If it's on my calendar, I'll be there. If it's not, I can.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I don't know. Don't ask me.
You just looked like you were all stone-faced, just staring at me for 5 fucking minutes. The hell? Had no facial expression, like, when's this guy gonna shut up?
I'm actively watching you guys talk. Like, I'm invested in this.
That's the hardest part, ain't it? When you start staring at the fucking screen.
Yeah.
That's why you never see me look actually at my camera, is because I'm watching you guys.
And that's why I try to nod when I'm paying attention, like that I'm following along.
And that's why I always put myself on my screen on the left, is because when it plays back on the podcast, I'm looking at you two.
I should just do that.
There you go. Now Wes is talking. Go ahead.
No, that seems weird. This seems weird.
And he just got extremely tall.
So the important question for the week I got to ask is...
Yes, sir.
Are you taking 1 gorilla or 100 Kobe's?
Ooh, are they Kobe's specifically? Yeah. Other than
absolutely,
just
it's got to be 100 Kobe's.
I'll take 100 Kobe's.
I'll take the fucking gorilla. Wait, hold on. Time out. How much am I getting paid to win? How much am I getting paid to lose?
Well, if you lose, you're dead, and if you win, you can have whatever.
How much do I get paid to be dead, though?
You're the most famous dude on the planet if you win.
Yeah, no, I get that, but how much do I get paid? And how much do I get paid to lose? I need Don King in this motherfucker.
You're dead.
Here's
the
thing. No, if you win, you have to split that money among all the remaining Kobe's that are still alive.
No, there'll only be one. It's fine.
I don't know why you're worried about money. Well,
that can be only one. It's like Highlander.
It is. Like, I could see you sabotaging the other Kobe's right there towards the end and knifing them in the kidneys.
If 100 Kobe's win against a gorilla, I guarantee you that one Kobe is going to be the only one left standing. Because we will then fight we will fight ourselves. There can only be one.
Be like that scene from Dragonheart. Be like, I am the last one.
No, it'll be like the movie called One by Jet Li. Is basically what it's going to be. To where I travel multiple dimensions to kill everyone except for the one. And every time you kill one, it gets stronger. Have you not seen the one?
Sounds like the basis of the 1990s television show Highlander.
Never seen it other than a sticker on a car.
Which apparently they're supposed to remake with Henry Cavill.
That would be awesome.
That sounds horrible.
I'd watch it.
Henry Cavill's my problem, not the show.
What's wrong with Henry?
He just hates everything with Iowa.
Let's just rip the goddamn Band-Aid off, because I'm a little upset right now about something that the Dirty Dursky and the Conspiracies and the Theories. What the fuck is Marvel doing? They made fucking Iron Man, fucking Doom. They're bringing back Wolverine to kill somebody. Now fucking Captain America's coming back as an evil Captain America. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
what the fuck are we doing?
So you get from the multiverse.
So what the fuck's gonna come out of it? What is your theories?
Hold on. Step back and put the whole thing in perspective. If there's multiple Kobe's out there, and somehow they all live different timelines, some of them happy, some of them sad, some of them rich, some of them poor, choose whatever you want, and somehow they get in a room together, are you going to be the one that survives?
Who cares as long as one of us makes it?
Do you care, though? Because you might not be there to see it.
But somehow I'll be there to see it.
But not this Kobe. It'll be some other Kobe.
No, it wouldn't be you.
Probably a straight Kobe.
I am going to go with... I'm probably not the Kobe that's going to survive.
Straight Kobe wins. God, I didn't think of that.
And not because of the non-straight part. There's got to be at least one in-shape Kobe that's going to kick my ass.
Went the bodybuilding route when he was young.
But does that one have the level of violence that I possess?
I don't know. What caused that violence?
Trauma.
Well, I mean, it was rhetorical.
I'm just saying. The only thing that can stop violence is more violence. And the only thing better than violence is more violence.
I'd say it's a vagina.
No.
Go.
Sublime said it a long time ago. Fucking and fighting, it's all the same. As you both quietly stare at me collectively on the screen. That's fucking awesome.
It's okay, you cut that part
I thought
anyway.
that the Sublime fucking comment would get some reaction, and I got...
I figured
I'm not a big Sublime fan.
It was going to be cut after I said the straight Kobe would win.
No, I was going to leave that. I was going to leave that shit in because
that'll be in the 100th episode where it's just the outtakes. Yeah, I mean, I liked 311 more than Sublime.
Yeah,
amber is the color of my energy.
Oh, I got a notification about my AirPod. So if
I
go
dark, not understand that reference at all?
Which I got it. It's a song, motherfucker.
Yeah, but the guy that said he liked 311 better did not.
I must have missed it. I'm sorry. Say it again.
I said amber is the color of my energy.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Jesus Christ. It's like I'm trying to spoon feed you here, and you are doing a horrible job of being on the TV.
All right.
This is why I cannot work with untrained actors.
No,
it's like an interstate love song.
My band plays that one.
It's a great song. I love it. I really do.
Are you the lead singer of your band? Your band. I am. Your band. Your band.
Wow, straight into Eminem.
You bet. Why not?
If you need a guy to come play the cowbell, let me know. It's about all the skill I got.
We used to have this chick that followed us around all the time, and we nicknamed her Cowbell Connie. Like, funny thing is, her name was actually Connie. She would come and play cowbell, and she was awful. Like, she could not keep a beat to save her fucking life. But then she got pregnant, and she stopped going out to the bars. Obviously, you're not going to drink and go out anymore. My drummer sent me a picture last night. I woke up to it this morning because he drums in another band. And he's like, guess who I saw last night? And it was a picture of her. And I was like, no shit, Cowbell Connie. Now, we need a catchy name for you because Cowbell Connie's pretty iconic. Like, how are we going to Cowbell Wes? Like, that's a tricky one. Like, no, we need to, if we're going to do this, like, we can do it. We're going to have to change your name.
So,
well, if I drink
you have just solidified that he has to be at Rock and Roll, and he is going to be your cowbell master, and I'm going to fucking put a fucking GoPro on you and record the entire fucking thing.
That'd be epic.
If I have a good enough time on the river, I could be like Flea, and then I could just be full frontal flounder.
That's fine, because the GoPro is going to be above your genitals, so we're fine. All right.
That would be okay.
And it will be pointed not at you and towards other people.
It'd have to be really zoomed in anyway, so it's no worries.
So I got that fucking harness that puts it like right square in the middle of the chest.
Right in the chest.
Or I got the one that you can put on the head. So we'll go with whatever one keeps his winky out of the camera.
We could just.
You want to go with the head just so you can see what he's looking at when he twists his head. You want to see where he's looking.
All right, so
you don't want just the Iron Man straightforward, because then he'd have to turn his shoulders if he's talking to somebody.
Oh yeah. I've been trying to end this podcast
I realize
for
that.
the last
Now I'm just trying to
20 minutes, and then Wes starts talking like he hadn't been there all podcast, and now we got to go.
Well, honestly, I was enjoying the conversation.
All right, you guys have a wonderful evening.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on.
You bet. Anytime, man.
Yeah.
Later, fellas.
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
Well, I guess. I think it should be Dr. Parker, but...
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.